There we go. I think we got it going. I was in a scrambled up mess trying to jump over from the premiere. I hope it redirected everybody over. Like I said, I was scrambling there. Good to see you all. Let's see, we got ASO in the house there. Good to see you, brother. Max Wedge Dick Dastardly. Best name on all of YouTube. What's going on, man? And then that daggum fool. I hope he didn't bore you too much on that premiere. Cousin Mike, what's going on? Hey, and thanks again for stepping in and helping me out when I was stuck in old California there. I done got took over by the goggle gang. Yeah, it was a good time. Colleen Tebow, half pint to the front. How's it going? And Mopo's back in. What's going on, brother? I like that last video you did about get a guitar and learn to play it. That was good. Will he do it? Bet he don't. What's going on? Triple M, Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans. I gotta say Triple M because good Lord, that one twists my tongue right on up. I raced my car on pump gas and octane booster last time. 11-to-1 compression. Sweet. With the octane, you can fudge it a little bit. Like I said, but to do it, you got to pull timing out. That Sir Rat, the dually rat rod that we've got, that's actually a 51 Chevy cab. That one, she's running 11-to-1 too. But we've got it. Oh Lord, it's embarrassing. But Dad, he cranked so much timing out of it. That thing will actually run on mid grade. But I'll tell you what, it's got nothing when it's set like that. It doesn't ping, but Dad has got it tuned way out. But you stick premium in that thing, and just like you're doing right there, you throw a little octane booster in it, crank that timing back up, and boy, that truck comes alive. Steiner Relics, good to see you. I don't think I've seen you around much. Good to see you, and thanks for coming in, man. Let's see, get caught back up. Hey, look at there. We got JV's Little Shop in the house. What's going on, man? Mr. Lars peeking around the corner there somewhere. And unfinished project with that one little emoji that just, yep. What's going on, man? Backwoods Custom Crap. Evening all. What's going on? I'd like to set in a bit if you don't mind. Yeah, I'll throw the link up here in just a bit here. And yeah, it'll be an open mic. Anybody can come on in. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Oh, there we go. We got Ed's Machine. What's going on, man? And like I was saying in that the premiere that was just on just before this, the octane is only part of it. And my comment in there is so true. I actually loved the smog years because we know a guy that he runs Performance Machine here in Idle Falls, and I'll tell you what, the smog years were wonderful years because it put an end to all of the guys that would just run out there and buy the fastest car with the most money. You take your stuff over to a guy like Ed's Machine here, yeah, then you could the poor boys could compete with those high pocket boys. It was a lot of fun. What's going on, Ed? And Busted Radio Garage. What's going on, man? Oh, and there's a fundraiser going on that Colleen Tebow has put together for Hot Wheels guy. Help me brain fart. Anyway, she's put up a fundraiser for him. Somebody put up what is his name, because my brain just farted and I can't. It stinks. Functional histories. There we go. Oh, thank you. Anyway, for to kind of help him out, he's in a little bit of a rut, and Busted Radio, I got to thank you so much for helping him out. You sent him over a set of wheel bearings and brake pads and everything to help him out. Anybody, any of my mods, if you guys know the link to it, or Colleen, I might make you a mod so you can post the link to that, and we'll see if we can't get him a little more support there. In fact, I think I'll do that right now. That's a little bit important. We're going to pause here for just a second while I jump over here on this screen and screw around with this. Let's see, Colleen Tebow right there. Add as moderator. Block. Ooh, boy, don't you love it? They put those right next to each other. There we go. Colleen, you should have a wrench now. There we go. I went ahead and made Busted Radio, the other BRG, a mod as well. Yeah, and if you guys want to go ahead and post up his link there for everybody to see it, we'll try to do as much as we can to help him out. Heck of a cool guy. He builds little, he finds channels, and then he builds little Hot Wheels replicas of their build projects. Pretty cool. You got to check him out. And with that, let's see. We'll go ahead and post the invite up here. Copy that. Boy, so much technical stuff on this. Face that up. There we go. Hit the button. I noticed on this YouTube has done something a little bit different on the live chats and that. They got a little emoji that pops up right at the bottom, but they put it right over the 3 dots. So I can't hit the 3 dots until somebody says something. There we go. Now bounce it up there. Let's see. Pin that message. There we go. All right. Jump back over on this screen. So what's everybody at? Oh, there's the link for everybody. Colleen is a great person. Her and Triple M both. That was so cool getting to meet you guys, and you guys squoze in right at the end. Sorry I missed you this year. Oh, can he? Tony's Hot Rod Garage is another heck of a cool guy. And if you have computer questions, not just car questions, but computer questions, he's also a great guy to ask. He's the guy I asked about for my new computer, my new desktop. Him and Thumper the Sweaty Fat Guy. That's another channel that's out there. Both guys have got good stuff. And Thumper, if you want to, kind of going back to that last premiere, Thumper knows his stuff on ethanol, running on E85, or making your own. Very cool guy. Great channel. I can't recommend him enough. In fact, Thumper was on one of John's lives last year. That's all they talked about was making your own ethanol and how to set your car up for it. He does a lot of Pontiacs. Thanks for coming in, Ed. Stop by anytime. I sure do value your input and everything. Oh, McDonald has a car. What's going on, man? Good to see you. All those years with my dad, we didn't do any of our own machine work. We did the assembly. We'd take them an engine to have it rebuilt. They would take it to Performance Machine, and they would bust, we'd bust it all down, clean it all up for them, and then take it to them. They did all the machine work, and then we'd bring it back to the shop. We would do all the assembly. And so when it comes to machine work and stuff, I am very limited on my knowledge on that. Extremely limited. I know enough about it to take it to somebody that knows a whole lot more than I do about it. Except for little stuff, like gasket matching and stuff like that. I've done that, but I took a set of heads once and I cleaned them up. I did not port them. Everybody said, oh, that's porting heads. No, that has got nothing to do with porting heads. That's just cleaning them up, taking all the rough casting out of them. Kind of like you do when you're building a model, and you break them off the little skew thing and you take the X-Acto knife and trim off all the flange. That's all I've ever done with a set of heads. Work though. But I was always deathly afraid of going too deep. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the chats. I'm working in the background. No problem at all. What you working on? But I'm finally back from my vacation. We went down to San Diego to see my daughter. She's, as you've known from some of my past videos and stuff, she's expecting our first grandchild. And it's been kind of rough on her, so we went down to visit. And well, my wife's little car, her little Ford Edge, brand new. Well, it's two years old now. Let loose on us, right outside of all places, Nephi, Utah. I have got the worst luck with Nephi, Utah. For all those, those of you guys who ain't familiar with Utah, it's halfway between Salt Lake and Las Vegas, in the middle of nowhere. So we pulled in there, stayed the night, got up, got in the car, and I was driving that leg of the trip, took off, and I noticed the car. I had to give it to mustard to get it to come up onto the freeway. I didn't think much about it because it was cold, and well, the wife usually drives that car, and it's, the computer has learned her driving style. And I'm an old man. I drive like an old man, so it's real sluggish anyway. So I jumped on it and got up on the freeway, and okay, well, then the heater quit working. My brain said, uh-oh, something's going on. And these modern dang cars ain't got a temp gauge on them. You got to fiddle with the dang steering wheel and the buttons on it and try to find the dang temp gauge. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is cars without gauges. So we're driving along and I'm trying to find the dang temperature gauge. Finally get it, and it comes up and it's about halfway. I was thinking, okay, we should be okay. And we're coming into Spanish Fork, and I thought, okay, we'll just pull off here and I'll find an O'Reilly's or AutoZone or something, and I'll check it out and see what's going on. All of a sudden, check engine light come on, boom, and boom, nothing, no power, no nothing. I had to floor it. just to get it to come over to the off to the shoulder on the freeway there. Well, long story short, yep, blew the engine, and we ended up stuck in Provo. That's where the dealership is. We had to call a tow truck. They hauled it into the dealership, but it was Sunday, so had to wait till Monday to get the bad news, and then we had to wait even longer to get a loaner car. Oh, it's an ordeal. Darn Fords, I tell you what. And this is the bad thing about it. Okay, they give us the quote on the bill. It's all covered under warranty, so that is a good thing. Ford is standing behind the warranty. But the daggum bill on that thing is 10 grand. Can you believe it? A little four-cylinder, a little 2-liter four-cylinder is 10 grand. Do you know how many big blocks I can build for 10 grand? Yeah. People say these old classics are expensive. No, they're not. These old classics are dirt cheap. 10 grand for a four-cylinder. Jeez, that still eats at me. I have to attend my Uncle Tony's funeral tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry, old Mac. I have to leave early in the AM for the third drive, so I won't. If I don't answer here, I probably fell asleep. I'm sure sorry to hear that, man. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you. I guarantee this. I worked at a machine shop for a little while, but was engine puller and putter inner. The guy that we take all of our work to, his name's Alden Miller. If any of you guys are into professional bracket racing, you might know who I'm talking about. He travels in the summertime all over the United States on the circuit. He's a bracket racer. He runs a little 69, 68 Mustang with a 429 in it. And that's the only things that's the reason why dove heads are so dang hard to find around here, because Alden's got all of them. But anyway, he's had his own shop since the late 70s. And before that, he actually worked for Napa. I believe it was Napa. When Napa had their own machine shop, and they installed and all of that stuff. That's pretty cool. Good Lord, we've been using Alden for, my dad's used him since the 60s. Since long before he had his own shop. I might be wrong about the Napa part, though. I might be thinking of another guy. I don't know. That's a long time ago. Your Duramax lost an injector in Provo? Oh, Lord. I'll tell you, there's something about that little area. There's more to that Skinwalker Ranch than it's being let on. That's where all the automotive gremlins are. I'm convinced of it. I loaned my 01 Dodge with the Cummins in it to a good friend of the family who was moving his construction business out of Butte, Montana, down to Arizona. He was working on the border wall down there. He installed all of the gates, the pop-up gates and stuff like that, the high security gates. It's for Becco Construction. They're out of Arizona now. But anyway, he's a really good friend of the family. He used to be out of Butte, Montana. But anyway, I loaned him my truck and a 4-horse horse trailer to help move all the paperwork and stuff from the business down to Arizona. And coming back home with the trailer, he lost the transmission in Nephi. in between Nephi and Spanish Fort, and they happened to tow it back to Nephi. So yeah, that section of Utah, I'm convinced it's cursed. I even followed the rules that I was taught by my driver's ed teacher. And for any of you out there, when you're driving along and you come to a cattle guard, you have to honk your horn. Do not drive over a cattle guard without honking your horn. The painted on ones, they don't matter. You can drive right over them. But if it's an actual cattle guard, honk your horn as you go over it. It scares the gremlins and they jump back down. Otherwise, then little buggers will jump up and climb up and get on your car and steal parts off of it. Oh, Lord, I got way behind on telling you stories and I lost track on the chat here. Sorry about that. But I'm serious. My driver's ed teacher, old man Fulmer, he would tell that to every driver's ed kid. And around here, people still do it. You drive over a cattle guard, boop, you honk your horn. I also lost a tire on my Raging Toy Hauler. There too, same spot. See, I'm telling you, there is more to that Skinwalker Ranch than they want to let out. Right back at you, Twisted Mopar, and I'll probably be on that weekend of Christmas. But if something happens and I'm not able to be on, or to any of you that don't happen to be on, wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays if you're not all into the Christmas thing, whatever. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss out on too many of the chats here while I was talking along, and I forgot that I had a comment up here, and when I do that, the chat on here freezes. So yeah, I go over there. Oh Lord, there's a whole bunch more. Sure fun changing a tire on the traffic side of the 15. Oh yeah, especially in that area. I remember, oh, even my wife, she's from Southern California. And, well, my daughter, when they come up here to visit, she's from San Diego. So they're kind of used to California traffic. And, yeah, if you want to see some serious traffic jams, yeah, try to go from LA to Las Vegas on a Friday. It's a traffic jam all the way to Vegas. But anyway, on the traffic side, on the I-15, we call it the corridor. It goes all the way from Salt Lake, all the way across, because that's where the two major, I-80 and I-15 come together. And it's the only way through there. That little section right there just gets packed. Some of the worst, and nobody there knows how to really be in traffic. So you get, I counted one time 15 accidents with that little short section there. The I-15 corridor going through Salt Lake is through the Salt Lake area. That now it's all the way from Spanish Fork to Brigham City. Oh, good Lord. Power Tour is going to run through that section? Good night. Hey, Justin. Hey, I did check my emails. I didn't see an email from you. I don't know if it got lost, or I started to go through the spam file, but I haven't emptied that in a little while, so there's a lot of stuff in there. Sometimes Yahoo will do that. It'll stick, for random reasons, it'll stick my good mail in the spam folder. Hey, Annabella, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. She does some pretty cool stuff on her channel too. They did LA to Vegas and back to Pomona this weekend. Huh. You didn't get the stickers yet? Huh. I'll look into that. A while ago, I opened up my mailbox and everything was frozen inside of it. But I'll look into that. In fact, I just dug out another batch of them, so I got plenty more of them. Yeah, there's the link over to Annabella's place. Good Lord, I can't talk. uh, Honestly, I'm still a little frazzled, but the whole extended vacation. Oh Lord, that was a mess. Oh. Yeah, if you come on down, I'll give you all sorts of them. Or over to Cousin Mike's. You know where both of us are. All you got to do is come down the Yellowstone Highway, and just before you get to Perth, you'll know where I'm at. My place is pretty hard to miss. — 20 miles? I think it's a little farther than that to Rigby, isn't it? Or am I thinking Rexburg? I get the R's mixed up. That section of Idaho is, we got a whole mess of R's there. Hey, functional, there you are. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Trying to finish the edit on the video with the next half hour. I'm listening though. Don't talk bad about me. If we're talking bad, it just means you're in there. Good to see you, brother. Anyway, up by Rigby, we got Rigby, Ryrie, Rexburg, Roberts, and there's one more. I know I always forget the other one, and they're all like way apart from each other. Good Lord, if you don't get the exact name, a lot of times you end up on the wrong side. I do, but it's not activated yet. I've got t-shirts and hats and mugs and cell phone cases and stuff like that, but I just haven't activated it yet. They got my logo on it, and a lot of the t-shirts got like little sayings and stuff on them. I keep metal hot on one, and the other one was putting the reality back in reality TV. Yeah, sometimes I come up with something and I'll go in and change it, but I haven't got it set yet to launch. I'm trying to figure out how to get. Well, my original intention was to have my daughter do all my merch, and then she gets all the money for the merch. So I don't know. It just hasn't come to fruition yet with all of this stuff going on. But if you want stickers, just let me know, and I'll throw some in the mailbox for you. The ones I give out for free are these little, they're little bitty ones. They're only 2-inch ones. But the ones on through Teespring, I believe it is, they're 3-inch. But I have no idea the quality of them. Yeah, cousin Mike here, he just opened his just a bit ago. Selling them all at straight cost. That's the problem with when you go through stuff like that with like Teespring and there's a whole mess of them that'll do it for you. They handle all your inventory, your design. They screen the t-shirts and then ship them all out. So they handle all of that for you, but they're kind of spendy. So I used to wonder, wow, $25 for a t-shirt? Yeah, then you find out that, yeah, that's what they're charging. Or close to it, you know. Then I tried to get it done locally. Whoa, good Lord. I was thinking about it anyway, very briefly until I looked into it. And the cost of doing your own merch, good night, that's expensive. Functional histories, Savoy and Roadrunner are boxed. Oh, sweet. You sent Annabella a coffee cup? Oh, that's cool. And while cousin Mike was over here the other day, he got a little pop-up. I guess I haven't seen it yet, but I guess YouTube is offering membership. You can off a channel now can offer like a 1 month free membership if they want to. I haven't set up memberships on mine yet, but I just don't know. I don't know how to handle that. I'm just tickled to death. All you guys watch my silly stuff. Watch me fumble around when trying to figure this stuff out. But I got the link up there if anybody wants to pop on in, climb on in. It's just basic open mic night. Let's talk about anything. Yeah, you can give out like 10 free memberships a month. That's actually kind of cool of them. All the restrictions and everything and about doing this YouTube stuff. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but yeah, there's reasons behind why there are restrictions and stuff. Edit is done. Isn't that just the funnest part? Oh, that was a major F up, but I fixed it. Boogie Van tonight. Sweet. I stopped by for ideas to build my string stuff. Always cool. Thanks, man. That's Sir Rat. That was the funnest one we did. That was the most challenging one we have ever done. Trying to get that twin I-beam to work on top of the frame. That took some noodle scratching. But thanks, man. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. Sometime, well, Dad's got it up on the lift now, so I need to sneak over there and do an in-depth on the chassis of that thing. I can show you where we messed up too, because so you guys can learn from our mistakes on our chassis design. I need to get over there and do a video on that. It was a nightmare. I'm seriously winded. No problem, man. Yeah, the editing process. Oh, back when Windows had their own editor, it was super basic. I mean, beyond basic. But I could edit and load a video in about an hour. I could have it all set and done, from dropping it into the computer, editing it, and spitting it out. But now they've done away with Windows free editor, and you got to use Clipchamp, which the editing process, actually, I'm editing and it's still about the same amount of time. That's why you've seen a difference in my videos, is because I'm having to use Clipchamp. But my internet provider here is super slow. So it takes me about 4 hours. That last video I just did is a 30-minute video. It took 3 hours for that to upload to Clipchamp. And then it took another 2.5 hours to load back from Clipchamp back into me. And it's nothing to do with Clipchamp. It's because my internet is just, it's barely fast enough to do these lives. But when it finally goes in, then I can edit it, and I can edit it in like no time, maybe half hour to do a 30-minute long one like that. But just getting it up there and then back to me. Sir Rat would certainly look good in a 164th. Oh, that would be interesting. I'd be interested in how you do the front end on it. That'd be interesting to see what you come up with. Any rat rod like that. That would be really cool. Especially with the suicide front end, when you stick the front end in front of the, straight axle in front of the frame. That'd be pretty doggone cool, functional. And I'd be honored if you did it. Boy, that would really, you would make my dad's year if you did that. He's kind of in a slump. He hasn't been out in the shop in about a month, and I know it's killing him. I'm going to try to get over there tomorrow and drag him out to the shop, and we're going to work on a project for the No Name Nationals. He's had he's had a really rough go. This just before we went to California, he went back into the hospital again. Just he was in and out. They didn't have to keep him, but yeah, he's not doing really good. I've been thinking of building the Surrat in 125th. Wow. Like I said, man, it would not for BareRose Garage. Do that one for the Big B. Because that would, if you want to take it on, that would just make my dad's whole day, whole year. Sure do appreciate that, man. Mine's terrible too. I can't go live sometimes. Yeah. We had cable one in the beginning. And then, what is it? Sparklight bought them out. And they claim that our plan, they didn't change the plans. But ever since they bought them out, my internet speed is about half of what it used to be. It's still unlimited, but they cut the speed down. It just we're looking into other options now. Actually, I've been looking into fiber optics because they just stuck a box out there in my yard when they run fiber optics through here. So hey, if I got to mow around that daggum junction box, I'm gonna see if I can get something out of it. Looks like we got cousin Mike coming on in. Hey, what's going on, brother? Looks like you froze up. You out there playing in the snow? He's stuck. He must have done one outside and froze. Actually, it's been pretty warm. Let's see. Fiber optic internet is the go-to. Same input as output. Like I said, I'm really looking into it now. Looks like cousin Mike's trying to come back in. He'll get it figured out. Anyway, it's actually been unseasonably warm here. What is it? 31 degrees right now? That's unheard of. Usually it's in the single digits this time of year. Yeah, old cousin Mike, he's right on top of that. And any of my mods, if you guys want to post up links to these guys' channels, anybody, promote them up. We'll spread some cheer around. Son of a gun. I figured he's having little troubles there. Wireless claims to have fast speeds, but the speed in may be fast, but the speed out is very slow. Fiber is the only one that is the 1-to-1 ratio. I've noticed that a lot of times, you get like 5 whatever G network, and it's no different than what I'm plugged into right now. Nice here today, but major rain coming, huh? Where's Max located? I don't remember right offhand. You're out rolling around in the 429? Oh, sweet. Yeah, when you told me about that car, I was like, that car is coming home, no matter what. It's either going to your house or it's coming to my house. One of the two. Here it comes. Hell, I wanted it just for the 429 in it. Oof. I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for that 385 series big block Ford. And to find a 68, 69, 70, whew. Even the Lincolns, the Lincoln Mark, not all the Lincolns, but the Lincoln Mark, the Continental 68. If I remember right, the Continental still had the 462, and that one you want to avoid like the plague. That was the last of the Mells, and yeah, they're a dog, and you can't buy parts for them. So the 462, yeah, don't bother with it. About 20 miles from Altoona. Oh, cool. Bill Jenkins. Old Grumpy beat your dad weekly, huh? The 73 Lincoln, yeah. They had those had D3. Yeah, those would have had D3s on them. They weren't too bad, but boy, you want to stay clear of the D4 heads. I had a 72 Lincoln Mark, and actually that car got me into a lot of trouble. That's when I found out that, yeah, sometimes the speeding is more than a speeding ticket. It's a set of silver bracelets that kind of latch at the back. Yeah. And it's followed up with a lot of SR22 insurance and 30 days. Oh, boy, that Lincoln had moved. Fastest I ever been in a car was in that 72 Lincoln Mark. $146 and 55. Yeah, that wasn't a speeding ticket. But that was back in the years when everything was 55. Well, if the freeway was 65. But that thing had such long legs on it that, yeah, you had to, once you got her rolling, yeah, she would flat fly. It was really, really weird too, because about 110, between 100 and 110, she would really float. She'd do the big car wiggle. And then after about 115, that car would just set down on the ground and just hug the ground. It was the weirdest feeling I ever experienced in there. Yeah. And then she'd come alive. Oh, I love that big old car. I never did street race it though. In fact, when I got that, well, it was reckless, is what it was. It was reckless driving. When I got that ticket, I was actually coming home from work. Uh, it's back when I was building Flag Ranch in Grand Teton National Park. It's almost in Yellowstone Park, and Grand Teton National Park is Yellowstone Park. The two parks connect. But anyway, there's a famous ranch there called Flag Ranch. It's a big resort, and I was on the crew that was building that, and we were up there for a month and a half because I had kept having to stay over, and the office was back in Idle Falls, and it was it was Friday. Didn't get to leave until noon because it was a big fiasco getting things all buttoned up and everything. And if you didn't get to the office before the office closed, you didn't get paid. You had to wait till Monday to get paid again. Well, Monday come along, we'd be back up on the job site. I'd already been up there for a month and a half, and I hadn't gotten paid yet. So I was hauling butt to make it to the office in time to get paid. Needless to say, I didn't make it. I made it to Madison County, and that's about it. Oh, and then the old judge told me not to come back to Madison County after that. Oh, Lord. That was back in the 90s. Back when I was a lot less grayer and a whole lot stupider. Hey, Dust Devil, what's going on? It's good to see you, man. The first live I was ever on was this guy right here, Dust Devil's Garage. Storm isn't here yet, but must be close. Sprinkling a lot. Uh-oh. Altoona, is that close to Slippery Rock, Pittsburgh area? My second wife was from, well, she was from Lancaster, which is really strange because, well, my first wife is also my third one. we, as Ross on Friends would say, was we were on a break, an extended one, because I was stupid back in them years. Anyway, my first wife is from Lancaster, California. My second one was from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Go figure. My 68 429 makes the Lincoln look like it wasn't moving. We throw some gears in that thing, and yeah. But I'll bet you that that Thunderbird of yours, she's got some pretty long legs on her too. They didn't handle well. They can though. They sure can. If you can use that weight to your advantage, oh yeah, they do. I used to drive that thing double footed. Uh, coming from, I'm going to give out a little secret here, okay? For all of you guys that don't really want to pay to get into the Yellowstone National Park, head towards Ashton, Idaho. Shh, we'll keep this all a secret, okay? There's a road called Grassy Lakes Road just before you get into Ashton, Idaho, going north on the Yellowstone Highway, the highway that runs right out in front of my house here, as a matter of fact. Anyway, you go up there, you can't miss it. There's a big white barn with a big cow on it. I forget what ranch it is. But anyway, you'll see it, and there's a sign up there that says Grassy Lakes. Turn there and head out. It'll take you up through the back way, sideway into Yellowstone National Park, up over to the mountain and down through area called Grassy Lakes. That's why they call it that. But it's all dirt. And it's a full of switchbacks, and it is funner than heck. I used to take that Lincoln on that road because he cut off, and because the park is all, well, back in them days it was 35. Now they bounced it up to a whopping 45 mile an hour all the way through Yellowstone National Park, and you deal with nothing but tourists and motorhomes, and it takes you forever to get through the park. So we would take off straight from there because Grassy Lakes dumps right out at Flag Ranch, the ranch I was building resort. Anyway, whew, make a long story shorter, I would take off in that Lincoln on that dirt mountain road full of switchbacks, and just hammer that thing. Whew, that's when I learned to double foot and lay a car in. Whew, dirt tracking through there, that was just so much fun. Just leave your foot to the floor, and when you come into the corner, you hard brake it with your foot still to the floor. Break them tires in and get that nose to dive just as you turn. And man, she would just grab and bite and grab and bite, and you feather through your brake and your throttle to keep that nose. Every time the nose had come down, front tires would bite, and oh man, it's fun. Oh yeah, you guys got me excited on that one. And I got to go out there and think about not doing that again. But anyway, those Lincolns, and the 70s, we used to call them big birds. When the Thunderbird got really big, it was almost the same size as the Lincoln Continental and Marks. I used to race one of them in high school on a road we call, it's Rose Road. Goes to Rose, Idaho. It follows the Snake River. It's real windy. And if you miss a corner, you end up in the river. But I used to race that Thunderbird, which is pretty close to that Mark IV on that. Good Lord, that had a 460 in it too. Uh-oh, I was blabbering along and I left the comment up and got lost in the chat. Dadgummit. Sorry about that. Just working on getting back into the swing of things, having some carb issues. Uh-oh. Keeping me from working on the car. Did you ever get that burned up, what was it, 727? I know you was going to look into it and see how deep the damage was. Go check out his channel. He's got a couple of videos on a 727 that was a whole motor caught fire. It actually melted that sucker. It's pretty cool. My 68 Thunderbird moves so fast, you'd think the speedo was messed up. Probably 2 hours away. I dared a burnout in front of District 17, 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I'm between Altoona and Puxatawny. Hey, you get the first-hand account about whether or not we're going to get, 6 more weeks of winter? Have you ever gone and seen that when they do the groundhog? You know, I watch that every year. That was my dad's mom's birthday, was a Groundhog Day. And she had to watch that every year. It was like her birthday thing. I raced my cars just down from BareRose's house. I remember when the city cop here in Perth, yeah, we used to go on that same road with him, and we'd see if we could outrun his car. He might still be a cop now, so I'm not going to give his name. And in my time period, you know, there was a few of them that went through, but he's no longer. Well, we don't have a cop in our town anymore. It was shortly after he left, the city couldn't afford it anymore, and they did away with it. Now it's all county. But yeah, you go out there and we could race the cop. His car was slow. Oh, Lord. I love living in a small town. Just love it. Of course, out where we're talking about, if you did anything bad happen, the only thing that you would have to fix is your car and a fence. And it's only a fenced on one side. Appalachian impaired. It's all right. I'm Rocky impaired. You're a better dirt track corner racer than me. Actually, I learned that in the sand rails, hauling butt on the sand. That I thank you, Dad, for teaching me that, and turning a blind eye when I get dumb and stupid out there on the sand dunes. What's real fun is when you incorporate that into four-wheel drive, though. Yeah, that's when life gets exciting, especially when you go from dirt to asphalt, sliding sideways. The secret is to downshift just as your tires are about to break the dirt and hit the asphalt. Get that tire speed up there quick and just keep them spinning. And she'll walk sideways. Oh, oof, and then turn the wheel. And on a four-wheel drive, it's all you steer with your brake. Just keep your foot to the floor and keep them RPMs up. Keep it in power band. Oh man, that's a lot of fun. But do it in a controlled and nice and easy area where everything is safe and it's on a controlled track. I trip over that 727 every time in the shop. Huh? I tell you though, it's pretty doggone cool to see that. I've never seen one melt that bad. And I work on a lot of Fords. And yeah, everybody knows that, yeah, Fords keep the fire department pretty close if you're driving around in a Ford. I've had so many Fords catch fire. I think it's because where the distributor is and the output shaft, especially if they're running a Holly, the output shaft for the fuel inlet points right at the distributor. So if you get a leak there, boom, it sprays the distributor and woof, barks like a dog. Only a half a hour away from the groundhog. Never. It looks like it's really crowded when they do that. Like I said, I love living in the country. There's one stop sign here I'm in. Next town to Hastings has one red light and it blinks. Our little town finally got its first traffic light, but it's a pedestrian crossing is all it is. We just got that a couple of years ago. We used to have a fire department, but it exploded. It did too. Holy cow. Hey, Doc, what's going on, man? Boy, I'll tell you what, if you guys want to see one of the craziest electric vehicle builds, go check out Dark House channel and watch his latest video. It is just cool. Oh man. Uncle Tony's got his work cut out for him this year, Doc. Yeah, that thing is, whoa, that thing is Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. For anybody that doesn't know, Doc is going to race Uncle Tony. Doc is building. Well, you got to go check out his channel because it is just the craziest EV. It is cool, just everything cool. And yeah, you're gonna eat him. You're gonna if you can keep it down, you're gonna beat him. Hey, Scarlett, good to see you, man. Ah, dadgummit, I got lost here again. That's cheap at half the price. Oh, yeah. Oh, and here's the link to the video. Yeah, it is too. It is the blue card of death. Oh, back when I was a kid, I had a go kart, kind of close to that, but it only had a little 3.5 horse Tecumseh on it. But at the time, I only weighed like 50 pounds. That's why my dad always threw me into that stuff. I was the lightest. He'd throw me into stuff and make me drive it because he could take 100 pounds, 200 pounds out of the car just by sticking me in the seat. But I had a little go kart, kind of like what Doc's first attempt was. The kind of more of that kind of frame style. Uh, there was a bunch of us in the neighborhood that had ones. I had a lot of fun on that thing, and the only one I couldn't beat was a girl. Her name was Cindy Mitchell, and she had one a three-wheel go kart. But her dad, a very very good friend of ours, he built it out of a Suzuki 125, and he took the back half, the swing arm and everything, almost to the yokes, and of the dirt bike, stuck it on there, and then stuck a go kart front end on it. And I'll tell you what, that thing would flat move. Speaking of her dad, I've been trying to get him to come on. One of these times, I'll talk him into it. But he's the one that actually made a little Honda Civic. That was like a 77, 78 Honda Civic. He made it run on hydrogen peroxide and aluminum cans. The hydrogen, making hydrogen. I keep telling him about that. Man, you got to come on and talk about that. He said, it didn't work. It did work. It would run, but it didn't make enough horsepower to even, it couldn't even climb out of the driveway. So he considers it a total failure, but it's pretty cool. Back in from a break, huh? Cool to see you, Wendy. Yeah, that's kind of what life's all about. Meeting all these old people, young people, just hanging out and sharing ideas, sharing concepts, and learning from everybody. It blows my mind every day. Especially now that it's all digital like this, I'm able to talk to you guys from all over the place, all over the country, all over the world, even. Pretty doggone cool. Dad gave me a '64 pickup. when I was 11 to clean the horse crap out of the barn and enough gas to get it stuck. That had a 312 in it, 64. I think 64 was the last year of the Y blocks. Or either that or the FE that was in it. Or of course, the inliner. The first time my dad let me take the wheel. Oh, good Lord, I don't remember how. I think I was 10, 11 years old. I wasn't very old. Driving the old 63 C20 3/4 ton two-wheel drive 63 Chevy pickup. Home from the dump. We went up to the landfill to dump off a bunch of yard waste and stuff, and he let me take the wheel and drive it all by myself, well, with him sitting in the passenger seat, of course, all the way back home. And coming into town to make the corner to the house, oh Lord, first time trying to drive a stick, first time, nervous because, got dad sitting right next to him. And we had a big chow chow dog named Angie. And she loved to go for rides, and it was exciting for her. So she's over here trying to get under my arm. And chows are pretty good sized dogs. And I'm a little bitty guy. I had to push my belly up against the steering wheel to push clutch in all the way. I got a dog up here on my arm. I'm trying to downshift because, you downshift so you don't use the brakes, so dad doesn't have to replace the brakes all the time, right? I'm trying to do all this and got a dog and trying to take a corner at, about 40 mile an hour, a 90-degree corner. I almost wiped out the stop sign there and went up over into Orlando's front yard. I don't know how I missed it. I looked over and dad. Oh, I think I was about 10 years old then. Yeah, with the crossover, probably a 292. Could be a 312, but yeah, most of them were 292s. Last year of them. Yeah, they kept that crossover. They did it to make room for the steering column and all that stuff. In the car, if you get the car manifold, the car run duals out. Yeah, the good old white block. Well, as long as you kept the oil changed in them very regularly, I mean extremely regularly, they weren't bad. Problem is nobody ever did. So yeah, they were a short-lived engine. Zero brakes, almost put it in the sewage plant. I remember changing water with my grandpa on the ranch down in little town of Kimberly, Idaho, just south of Twin Falls, right up against the mountains. My grandparents ranched with the Brockmans down there. Anyway, going with grandpa out to change water in a 58 International flatbed four-wheel drive pickup, if you could call it a pickup. I mean, it was, yeah, had no brakes. It had so much dirt on the floor that you couldn't push the clutch in all the way. You could only give it about quarter, maybe half throttle, because there was so much dirt on the floor. I mean, it was even complete with the baling twine tied to the hole in the seat where the springs were that you could throw around the suicide knob so you could put it in low range four-wheel drive, get out, jump on the back, and throw the hay to the cattle as you're going through the field, and just let it slow chug through the field. Yeah, same thing. I mean, it didn't go fast enough to hurt anything. I'm actually glad I drove that though, because yeah, if you were getting in trouble or coming down a hill or something and you couldn't get it stopped, all you had to do is shut the key off and throw it into first gear, and that sucker would come right to a stop. And it was done. Hey, 6%, what's going on, man? Let's see. Make sure I'm all caught up here. Those old early 385 460s. That's such a smooth power band, I recall. Off idle 900. Yeah, the early ones like that, that's another big key reason that I latched onto that 460 I jumped out of the junkyard. It's because they're internal balanced. I love just how smooth that power band is, and also how smooth the engine is. I didn't like that in 77, 78. Yeah, I think 78 when they went to the external balance. Those ones I don't care too much about, even though I got one. Not only that, there are uh, the real early ones, like the 429, or if you can find a 68, 69 Lincoln with the 460 in it, not the 462, the 460. They're the short deck. 71, the D1 blocks, up to 77. They're the middle blocks. And then the 77 up, they went real tall decked. But those 77 up ones, all the way into the 90s, pretty much the same block all the way through, except they put the knock sensors in them in the later years. But those blocks, those are the ones you want for a stroker kit. Those are the ones you want for the 521. The 521, you don't have to do any machine work. And those suckers get some power then. Sewage plant had a little dead end road. Yeah, we tried the CUDA there. Called it Sewage Plant Nationals. We have one here that's called Lake Monty. Hey, one of these times on one of Landon's lives, he'll tell you the story of why it's called Lake Monty. It's our sewage treatment plant. It's funny, when I was going to high school, the football field was here, and Lake Monty was right behind the football field. The same thing, but it's a gravel road, and it dumps off into the river bottoms for us here. That's pretty cool. .385 series, very smooth and reliable. Yep. The only thing bad about them is they don't have the sound of the FE. I mean, given my choice between the two, building for power for, pennies for ponies, 385 all the way because of FE, yeah, lots of money there and very complicated to get power out of them, to change them around. But the 385, oh Lord, you can do a lot to a 385 for a lot cheaper than the FE. But you don't get the sound of the FE. A 428, oh Lord, they just sound good. And oddly enough, the only one that sounds even better than that is the Y block. I love the way the exhaust comes out on a Y block. It goes straight out, straight out. That's why the headers on a Y block go upside down. They go up and down. Very, very cool. And they just got a sound all of their own. I think I would trade the 454 Gen 6 pickup 3/4 for another 73 Lincoln. Brandywine paint, beautiful black interior. Sweet. Yeah, mine was white on white. The 73 wouldn't be too bad, especially with 72 or 70 460 in it. That was the secret of my 72. It was an early 72 and it had dove heads on it. If it keeps going like it did today, it'll be 38 days of Chandler Christmas, huh? Oh yeah, that 429, like I said, the rest of the car, I'd give or take on it. But that motor and transmission, yeah. And the bad thing is you got the C6. That Mercury of mine, it's got the FMX, the Merclematic, same thing as an FMX. Slush box is what it is. It's junk. It's garbage. Everybody asks me what I think about the FMX. The old transmissions like that, they're all garbage. I don't like any of them. And bone stock, and every one of them, you got to take them into a transmission shop and put modern stuff in them, especially the torque converter. There's a reason they called them a slush box back then. Might have to acquire a tunnel ram for it. I happen to know where one is. Yeah. If you want to catch some good sized suckers, that's where you go. Sleeper with quiet exhaust. Boy, ain't that true words right there. Yep, 71, or like I said, in my 72, I got really lucky because it was a early 72. Hey, Bruce, good to see you, man. Low compression 460 is A-okay. I know modern head porting strangles. If you float the bottom end, you can still get things done. And, it's all on what you're looking at to get out of things. My dad's got an 87. Yeah, like I said in that premiere just before this live, an 87 Ford F450 or F350. No, it's a 450. Dually, uh, two-wheel drive. It's only got like maybe 200 horsepower. It's needing a little bit of love. It's a well worked over truck, but it's got a lot of torque. And yeah, that thing will move some stuff around. But horsepower wise, yeah, it's only got about 215, 200 horsepower in it now. Arrowhead Garage. Great to see you, man. I'll tell you what, Pontiac GM should have contacted you because that logo right there, that is just neater than all get out. That's the one they should have went with right there. Got done those low compression Pontiac heads, outflow SDs. Can do the same with the 385s. The thing that the 385 suffers from is exhaust. The intake side, good night. On a 460 Ford, you can almost stick your head inside of the head and take a look around in the intake port. Those suckers are huge. So on the intake side, you don't have to do much to a 460. The exhaust side, complete another total different story. And it's hard to do anything with it because they put that dadgum head bolt that's that big around down through there. It's like a 7/16 bolt. Good night. This biggest head bolts I found on a regular passenger car. That's why they torque it. What? 150, 145 foot-pounds? But that head bolt goes right through the exhaust. So you get that big boop, and they're tiny. That's why the 460 won't breathe. If you can afford it, AFR makes a set of heads for the 385, and they changed the exhaust ports. They've moved them up and over, and it uses big block Chevy headers. They went to a Chevy flange on them, and those were really good, but yeah, real spendy. It's way out of my price range. I could buy a set of heads, or I could buy two more cars. So that's an easy choice for me. Yeah, like I said, I got the link posted up there. If anybody wants to hop on in, go ahead, climb on in. Otherwise, I'll sit here and ramble and bamble, and I'll tell you more stories I'm probably supposed to keep secret. That exhaust bolt only only around is John K's P51 heads early on with Jeff 2. 2-Ax doing something similar. Discovered it can be done on P51s, but it's huge torque, near 700 foot-pounds. Yeah, that build that 2-Ax Jeff has got has a 60. Is his a 68 or 69 Thunderbird? Yeah, that is one good looking car and one heck of a great guy. I call him too many hacks though, because boy, he's got a lot of guys in his place. 68, yeah. The only thing I disagree with Jeff's build though is he should have held that 429 off to the side and went out and found a $5 460 for like an 87 or 88, something like that. You know, a dime a dozen. A 429. But a great series and a great build and a great guy. Yeah, that's what that tunnel ram does, though. You straighten the, put those long ramming intake runners on there. Your torque numbers start to really climb. Hey, would you look at there? We got 6%. What's
What's
going on, man?
happening, Bear?
Good
Oh,
to see
nothing.
you.
Just trying to get. Just you too, man. Just trying to get a lot of crap done in a little bit of time. So
So you've been on a sit back on the Chambler?
everything I touched kind of went sideways today. So just kept moving on. Something broke. I'm moving on to something else. One of those days. Figured I'll start
Oh,
with something easy this morning. Yeah, no.
go out and change the windshield wiper blades on it and end up breaking the arm off. And then, yeah, go to stick that on. And yeah, you take the wiper transmission out. And then, yeah, I know.
We made a temporary fuel line setup, and I wanted to put a more permanent because it's not a ton of pressure, but it's still 30 to 40 psi is nothing to laugh at. And yeah, the flaring tool, we either damaged it or it's a piece of crap. So hopefully it's too late to return it, but that's if it's broken, that's $200 out of my pocket. So
Oh, $200 one.
it's one of those ones that'll do fuel lines and brake lines, and I used them. I used the Master Cool brand when I built military stuff, and never had any trouble. So I figured I'll get what I can afford because it's basically the same tool. Well, maybe it isn't. So
I know if you go to Harbor Freight, that is one tool you absolutely avoid like the plague.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, but I figured this, within reason, it's dies and a little hydraulic hand pump. It's nothing, it's nothing overly complicated. But it wouldn't do the stainless fuel lines because they're too thick, and I guess you have to needle them first.
Oh, stainless? Oh, Lord, yeah.
Either we damaged it when we tried to flare those a couple months ago before No Name, or it just sucks. One of the two. So I'm going to try to do something else with it and see how it works out. And if it doesn't work, then yeah, there's something wrong with it. Which
I
sucks.
I don't like stainless. I don't like playing with it. It's a yeah.
Yeah, I bought some copper nickel, in the right diameter just to do that because yeah, that's what I with the stainless is factory stuff. So I just figured we'd, put a little flare on the end of it so we could just use the factory connectors just because it's easier and you don't have to, otherwise I still got to put some kind of something there to hold the pressure back. Yeah.
We got one of those Eastwoods, multiple ones, but it's a bench only. You have to put it in the ice.
This is.
Other than that,
I've actually thought about that one. I'm sorry, I've actually thought about that one. This is one of the Master Cool ones. It's a little hydraulic hand pump, and you put the dies in it. Well, I got the off-brand. It's literally called a Double Chin, is the brand name of the tubing flare. So might be something to avoid. I was hoping that it was. I know it made brake line. My buddy was helping me. It made brake lines fine with the copper nickel, and figure it out tomorrow. But I can't fart around with fuel. It's at high enough pressure. I don't want to hurt myself or anybody else. So not interested in fires. What have you been up to lately?
Yeah, being stuck in Utah.
It happens.
Oh Lord. Coming back from California, my wife's little Edge give it up, then it's stuck in the dealership in Provo, Utah now.
Oh, wonderful.
Blew the engine.
Yeah, that sucks.
10 grand. That's the bill on it. Just parts.
Under warranty or?
Yeah, it's all the warranty is going to cover it all, but they quoted us that on that. Holy cow. These new cars ain't cheap. And that's that's a little tiny little 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Well, it's that, the intercooler, everything.
Considering they're basically making them disposable now, you think they'd be cheaper just by the sheer nature of the beast. But I guess when you're paying $100 grand for a truck, everything's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Man, growing up, I thought a Lamborghini Countach 5000 was unattainable at what, 90 grand? Now a King Ranch Ford is over 100. Huh.
I paid $86,000 for my house. I'm not going to pay more for a truck than I paid for my house. I'm lucky that my house is worth a lot more than that now, but there's no chance in hell. So
yeah, but that truck won't be.
We'll go. No. Take that initial, hit when you drive it off the lot. I don't want to think about it.
Drive it off the lot and pull it back in, and it's worth 10 grand.
Yeah. It's restocking costs.
And plus, you got, if you take a loan on it, you got interest on top of that until you get it paid off. Then you got full coverage insurance you got to pay for on it. New car registration on top of that. Oh, Lord.
It gets you everywhere. I'll just stick with I can't complain too much other than the couple little things I got to fix with the Cherokee. Because it's $1,100. It's costing me about $1,000, $1,200 now. So can't complain.
I've been trying to talk my daughter into that. Just buy a classic old car. Something about 79 down. Pick one. Anything. As long as it's not fuel injected or in those wacky 80 years when they tried to computerize a carburetor. None of that crap. About 79 down.
Just have her get a Jeep Cherokee like the one I've got. They're everywhere, and if you're in a fairly rust-free area, they're easy enough to work on. So
Hives. Yeah, and I was checking Marketplace. There's classic cars in California that are still very, very affordable. And it's California. There's go out on the desert. There's no rust.
Yeah, but it's California. All I want to do is get a car there.
Yeah.
No, if I'm lucky enough, hopefully I've got my friend Lauren who's been in a bunch of my videos. She's got family in Utah, so I'd love to hit the Salt Flats and Easter Jeep Safari, buy something, drive it back, but need more money first. So
Let me know if you come through.
we'll do.
Salt Flat for 3 hours from my house.
Okay. Yeah, once the new year comes in, I'll start working on the Honchero, as I'm calling it. And I'll start picking your brain about how I'm going to lay that out. So
yeah, cool. Junkyard D, what's going on, man?
Junkyard. Yeah, no, Landon, I know that you seem to hate Jeeps. That's fine. You do what you do, man. you got a Geo Tracker, which is like a little tiny midget version of a Jeep. You didn't get a Samurai. At least that's a cool thing. You got like the soccer mom freaking Jeep.
Oh man, Samurais around here. Lord, those are sold like crazy. The Canal companies bought them all.
Okay. Well, they're worth stupid money. Even in horrible shape, they're worth a ton of money.
And the ranchers, they use them for, well, that was the first side-by-sides.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, Lord. A pickup that gives you damn massages. Put me back in the fridge.
It better for 100 grand. It better, like balance your taxes, do all kinds of other stuff. It better do a lot for 100 grand.
Come with 5 laborers in the back to load it and unload it as you need it.
Those trucks don't see payloads. Come on now.
Oh, Lord, no. A gallon of milk and they squat. And that's what they use them for now.
I don't know. I think it's funny. My Comanche is my Sanford and Son mobile. I load it with junk, take it to the scrapyard. It's like, when it dies, I get a bunch of stuff for it. But until then, I'm just going to keep using it like a truck.
That actually, it's a CJ. And the owner of that will about give you the body and the frame.
What else, or what's left of it, though?
He's taken the axles. Well, the axles aren't stock Jeep axles under it. Comes with that soft top, roll cage, everything.
You guys have a lot of rust in your area, or?
Some. We're not desert, but not a lot. We didn't salt the roads. In the cities now, they're trucking salt in, but out in the county, they use sand.
Okay.
So
yeah. Michigan's basically the Rust Belt, so.
But that Jeep out in my yard, they patched the floorboards. The whole floorboards are gone under the driver. They stuck cardboard up there, and they must have used $200-300 worth of RTV silicone and smeared it up there. The floor mat and the carpet is the floor.
Nice.
He bought that he bought it in California, but I think it come from the coast. California, you got to be careful there, because if you get on the coast, the salt air and stuff.
Yeah, same thing with Florida.
Across the mountains, then it's all bone dry.
Yeah, if you could tell what cars were people that lived on a beach in Florida when I lived down there, because basically the salt on the beach was like paint strippers, so their hoods would be half peeled or. Yeah, it sounds like something Dean would do. Take it easy, JB.
Now, but that CJ, they took the story was that they took a Mustang, little Fox body, with throw two in it. They pulled that and then they stuck it in that CJ. That motor was mounted in there this way and this way. Hacked in there. And they half did the wiring to the ECU. Ran richer and all get out. But yeah, you know CJs. The frames on them are just paper thin.
Yeah.
And it snapped the frame. They lifted it, everything. They killed that Jeep. Absolutely killed it.
Those things are worth money almost no matter what shape they're in, too.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about them. If you want to buy, there's two vehicles out there that you can buy that you'll never lose, well, almost never lose money on. Jeeps, the CJs, the Jeeps,
yeah,
and Harleys. That's the only two vehicles that actually hold value.
Well, like I have a 06 TJ, and that thing they're coming up in value ridiculously. It's harder to buy my era Jeep than it is to buy the next era because nobody wants the next era because the newest one's out. So the one back, which is like the last real Jeep, it looks like a Jeep about the size of a Jeep, a CJ, and that they're getting ridiculous. If I wrecked mine, I couldn't afford to replace it.
Yeah.
Would get a decent one anyway.
XJs, if you can find one that nobody has screwed with, which is extremely hard to do. That's my biggest problem with Jeeps, is everybody thinks that they are just the ultimate off-road vehicle, and they buy these little stock ones and just beat the living tar out of them. Especially out here on the lava beds. People try to cross the lava beds in them and just tear them to pieces.
I don't know. I can't leave anything well enough alone. So XJ is about my Cherokee's about the only thing I haven't done anything to other than just fix what it to be fixed.
And they make every option you can possibly think of for them. Yeah. So, boy, you get some mismatched, crazy, weird stuff.
You know what? Yeah, I understand the suspension lift is $400, but that doesn't include, you need to do your brakes, you need to do your steering, you need to do all this other stuff. Then wheels and it's like, no, realistically, a low ball suspension lift is $2,500 altogether by the time you're done.
And if you go too far, you got to cut your axles and reclock them.
And that all depends on what you got. Now you can actually shim and move stuff, but everything it's all expensive. Yeah, you can build a CJ without ever buying one. You can buy every single part for them.
Every single part. Mm-hmm. Good friend of mine, he's got I think it's a YJ. I think's what it is. But the only thing left on it, this Jeep, is just the tub. Yeah, he's got over $100,000 in that thing. Nice little Jeep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got some money in it.
Yeah, no, I don't unless something like the channel takes off and that makes sense to build it for the channel. I can't imagine doing that. If you handed me the money to do it, I certainly would, but otherwise.
Conveyor belt, that makes some of the best dang body bushings, especially on old cars, because if you look at it, it's the same stuff.
You guys don't use hockey pucks? Come on.
I'm the worst kind of dodgy. Pauline with one, L1 first, dodgy second. I tell you about it. I caught a little bit of that.
You can almost count on Dean for a WTF kind of comment. So I ran into 2 hacks at PRI last weekend. That was good to see him again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I met him at No Name, and I saw him. I interviewed Professor P for my video, and he was telling me about the stuff that he couldn't tell us about at No Name. And the next morning, I ran into 2 hacks. I didn't see Buster Radial or Levi, but they were there apparently. So
Jeff, he is one cool guy.
yeah, yeah. I stayed at the same hotel with him and his dad and his kids. So at No Name. I'm playing the dog bongos.
If you use hockey pucks to do a body lift, you can make it as high as you fucking want.
You are fucking right, my friend. You are fucking right.
I've always wanted the bed off of a rabbit. The little rabbit pickups.
Yeah, I thought they were unibody.
Are they? I thought they had a separated bed.
I could have sworn that the rabbits were unibody. Maybe I might be misremembered at this point. I haven't seen one in so long, but I thought they were unibody.
It's been a long time since I've seen one too.
You can still make a trailer out of it. Everybody does. Make a trailer out of everything.
Heck, that's where I find a lot of these beds from. These old beds. Especially with Chevy, because Chevy started in 55 on their step sides, and it was the same all the way through the 80s. All they did is change the fenders.
I haven't seen anybody make one of those in a long. I saw those all the time when I was a kid, and I really don't see them anymore. The truck converted into a trailer.
The one we call a Karen's F-bomb, that F500 that we got, it's the bed is off of a F100. Actually, an F1. It's got the slanted, but that thing was a trailer that a guy used to haul his chicken manure out with. I pressure washed the heck out of that thing and cleaned it. Got the smell out of it, but welding on that thing, oh, that chicken, it's embedded in the metal, and as soon as you light a spark on it, oh, and it goes up through your helmet, and oh
man, all that acid from the feces didn't rot it out.
Oh, that bed was in rough shape. Satin black is the best body and fender. You don't need any Bono. You don't need nothing. Just throw some satin black down the side of it and stand back. Perfect. But if you get up real close or run your hand across it, yeah, that bed goes like this.
Oh, Lord.
But he only wanted $100 for the trailer, so it was complete.
Yeah, it's all that matters at the end of the day. If you can use it, and it's decently priced.
Rabbit pickup is uni, all right.
Okay. I thought they were, but
for the tailgate. I always wanted to take a Volkswagen Beetle, cut the back of it off, and then take one of these Series 1 Chevys or GMCs, the junkyard out where we go. He's got hundreds of them. But take the back cab off of one of them, cut it, and then marry that to one of them Volkswagen Beetles, make a pickup out of it. And then use the Volkswagen Rabbit tailgate. That's what I wanted the bed for.
Okay.
And then stick the engine up front. where it's supposed to be. A friend bought a Jeep with a fiberglass body. It's maybe half Jeep now. Disc brakes on rear from who knows what. Ignition system, same way. Yeah, this one out here, they tried to do a disc brake conversion for a 82 Cadillac onto it. And it's half done too. It just, that little Jeep out there is just a freaking mess.
That's a shame.
And it needs to go away. That's a job I never got a nickel on.
Oh.
That's why it's in my. I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it in 3 years now.
No, I mean, especially with AMC, they borrowed everything from everybody. Your columns are GM, your ignition's a Ford, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not abnormal for them to have completely random parts on everything.
And it's the only one I ever come across that the fusible link is the tack. Your main power wire comes in and goes through the tack. So if anything happens, fry that, and kind of like a Mopar with the amp gauge.
That is weird. Like my both of my AMC cars, the Chambler and the other one, the door keys are Briggs and Stratton. Like literally, they say Briggs and freaking Stratton on. So they literally, if they didn't have to make it themselves, they just freaking didn't. They didn't bother.
And this little Jeep out here, it's a 87, 86, 87. It's the last AMC. Just before Chrysler bought them.
Okay. Yeah, because the Cherokee and the YJ, which is the square headlight one, were designered AMC, so they're technically still AMC, even though they went until the 94 for the YJ and 2001 for the Cherokees.
Yeah, I seen that. That's what kind of gave me the idea.
And there's another company that's making a Ute kit for the Dodge, the 4-door. I can never remember the Challenger or Charger, the new one. You convert the 4-door into a Ute. It has a body kit and a bed kit and the whole thing. They don't look bad. I have no idea what they cost, but
I don't want to play with Volkswagen no more. I've done enough of that.
I never had one, so I don't know if I ever will, but wouldn't mind a buggy.
Maybe one in the front, one in the back, joined with the Pontiac.
Dean's got way too much free time on his hands, it sounds like.
I do know where there's 2 305 GMC V6s, though.
Oh, the straight sixes?
Yeah. No, the V6.
Okay. Oh, the industrial ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in like a 53, 54, 53 GMCs.
Okay. Yeah, because didn't they have a 300 and something cubic inch straight 6 too? The Jimmy 6 or something like that? It was the GMC only?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a hot little stove bolt. I got a friend built one, and it's got the 5 carbs on it.
Okay.
But yeah, he wants way too much for it. Well, he wants what he put into it. So yeah, he wants a lot for it.
You rarely ever get what you spent on it. That's kind of a guarantee, unless you've had it long enough to get it's advertised or you got it cheap. You're likely not getting what you put into it. Well, you got any big plans for the holidays?
Don't know. We're just kind of playing it by ear now.
Okay.
Hopefully the car's back by then.
You guys have to go get it, or how do you arrange in that one?
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
the wife's got to work in Ontario that week. So she's got to go from Ontario, Oregon, all the way back down to Provo, get the car, and then drive it all the way back up here. It's like a 8-hour drive from Ontario to Provo, and then it's another 4.5 hours from there home.
Geez, well, I guess you'll know if it breaks again because it'll do it right then. So, Colleen's saying that the Chargers are the 4 doors. I don't know why, but in my head it's a block. It's Charger Challenger. Either one.
Yeah, that's where I cut my teeth on.
It would be fun.
My dad had a little street Baja that he used to race. In fact, he's got one in the shop now that he wanted to do. It was going to be his last one. We got a 19. What is that? It's almost a 2000 cubic inch engine for it. Or, yeah, gee, Christmas, that's huge.
I say because like the Honda is a 75 cubic inch engine, 4-cylinder. I was telling my neighbor that when he came over to help me do something, he's like, "My Harley's bigger than that." I said, "Yeah, I get it. 52 horsepower originally." It's like, eesh.
Ten liters of V12. Oof.
Yeah, that would be a hell of a lot of stuff.
Got a V8 that's close to that. It's a diesel though.
Okay, what old big old Detroit or something, or
International. So that would it's out of a Thompson or Thomas school bus.
okay. Oh, took me a second when you said school bus to pop back in my head. You can't have my Honda, Landon. Sorry. There's a bunch of them out there. You can find one. They're just not converted into a mini Ranchero. So you can do that on your own.
What cousin Mike needs is those Renaults. Come on, cousin Mike, you got to do it, and you got to do something like what Clint's doing with that Subaru with it. Come on, let's go get them and let's stick that small block Chevy in it. We found two 57, 58 little Renaults, little teeny tiny little clown cars. What's going on, Clint? Make a Renault pickup with the 429. Now you're talking. See, we're getting the ball rolling. He's going to go down to Waltz and grab them.
There you go. You can combine them together and make one bigger car. Just leave the middle in one and slice either side in the other one and just put them together.
I have a 2.4 Honda that would fit nice in a Renault. Just pull the whole cradle and everything, lock the spindles so they're straight, and stick it in the back.
Yeah, I have a 75 cubic inch Honda that would fit in there too.
All right, let's go big. Let's find a Cadillac. Let's find an Eldorado. Do the same thing. Stick it in the back.
There was a 76 Chevy wagon at PRI, and I couldn't get the whole freaking car in the frame of the camera. It was so freaking big. I could not get the whole thing in the camera.
See, we're talking right now. My neighbor had one of those Pontiacs with the supercharger on it. Boy, it was so close. And he's got a Bricklin kit car.
A Bricklin kit car or an actual Bricklin?
It's a kit.
Okay. Because they were sort of a kit car. The real ones are kind of sort of a kit car.
This one's sitting on a Volkswagen belly.
Okay.
He still got it. Good Lord, I think he only wants a couple $100 for it.
It might be fun for the channel. You can always, throw it up there as some kind of. I wouldn't. There was a company that made a car called a Jamaican. It was a kit car, and every once in a while I see them, and if there was ever one cheap enough, I'd try to get it because they look like sort of like a Corvette, but it's probably the best looking of the kit cars because it looks like a production car, and it was called the Jamaican as far as I know.
Huh. Kind of like an Opel GT.
Sort of, but about the size of a Vet. I mean, I don't even think it was. I don't think it was VW based, but it's been so long since I actually looked at him. I don't remember, but it was. It looked pretty cool.
Cousin Mike, I'd have to disown you for that one. I'd have to take away your dang wrench over that one.
Well, there's somebody up in my area that's selling a dune buggy frame kit. You cut the tracker body off, chuck it away, and you put a tube like a sandrail upper chassis bar setup on it. They look interesting. I mean, you'd have to see it in person, but it looks interesting.
I tried to put a Volkswagen Beetle on a Samurai. It don't fit. The Samurais are too small. I was going to stick my 68 Bug on it. Nope.
I don't know that Honda from the outside bumper to the front bumper to the rear bumper to the edges is 12 feet long. That's all it is.
Hey, Indirect. Good to see you, brother.
Happening. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, but it's just a neat looking car. I didn't know what it was at first, so I did some it's probably been 10, 15 years since I saw it the first time, and I was like, man, that's really cool.
That's another freaky little car. The 280s, all of them, 260, 280s, 240s even. That's another car that holds it. That's really come up on value, and they're holding it.
Well, they're a neat car, and they're small enough, and you can get them to handle and do everything you want to them, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love a Toyota 2000 GT, which was like the car that was in James Bond. I don't think they ever came over here, but I know I wouldn't fit in it. They had to cut the roof off it for Sean Connery to fit in it. So
4 inches is all. I still got that 68.
there you go.
Just stick that bug right on there. You know where it's at. And Dad would probably pay you to take it out of there.
That sounds like a channel collaboration. Come on, you could do it together.
I got it hid over at my dad's place. It's sitting on my 50 Chevy. I got stuff scattered all over the place.
All my 6 piles of crap are in my house. So
You could have 200 GT or well into six figures.
So you could buy a new F350 or a classic or classic Toyota. That's nice. Same price.
There was a gal here in my actual hometown where my dad lives, about 2 blocks away from him. She had a 1600 Datsun. It's the ones just before the Z series.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Austin Healey.
Yeah.
That was cool little cars.
They made some very pretty cars. They're just also so extremely small relative to American stuff. And I don't mind. I like small cars, but there's a point at which I'm only 6 foot tall, but I still don't fit.
Oddly enough, the car that I owned that had the most leg room though was my MG.
No kidding.
I have a friend who's like, I think he's 6'5", huge, well, super tall. And he said, he used to drive a 70s Big Bird, Thunderbird. He said that thing's got more legroom than my car does. It blew him away. He was able to get in and, well, with the top off, he was able to get in and out of it, no problem.
I've always had good luck with my Jeep, my TJ, because it's so straight. It's like sitting in a chair, so there's a lot of room in it relative to size. Thank you, Max. I was impressed that Honda had been sitting since 2008, and I fiddled with it and got it running. It would have stayed running if I had fully rebuilt the car, but I wasn't going to spend the $50 for the couple of specific gaskets and seals and stuff. I just bought a roll of gasket maker and just made it work. So it leaked from everywhere I didn't fix.
Yeah, that little Opal was a cool little car.
Yeah, they are a slick looking car. They still look fairly modern now.
Every time you pull down in my driveway, I'd say, look there, you left your Corvette in the dryer too long.
Pretty much. Or like the Vega when they first came out and they looked like a 70 and a half Camaro shrunk.
The Novas kind of look like a Chevelle that shrunk.
Yeah.
I always liked the Maverick.
Yeah. I always kind of wanted a Granada, but I want to call it the granola bar.
Who was that used to race back in the 70s? A little Maverick. What the heck was his name?
I can picture the car in my head, but I can't think of the guy's name.
In fact, I think he lives right by Outfit's garage. What the heck was his name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, was it like red, white, and blue or something?
Yeah.
I can picture the car, but I can't think of the guy's name.
Big gold leaf letters down the side of it. I always like the looks of the Opel Manta.
I'm just trying to know what that one is.
So the only ones that I really got into with the Opels. Had one briefly. Got it from cousin Mike. It was his parts car. It was stripped. There was nothing in it. It was just a body shell, rolling chassis. Use that and my rat rod. Sold those to a guy, both of them, to a guy for the money to buy my Fairlane with.
Getting kind of itchy to buy another project car, and it's like I've got the '63 Rambler I've never touched, so I'm gonna try to work on that some this winter too. It needs body work.
That's right. Mickey Thompson ran one too. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did too.
That was an impressive guy. The stuff that he came up with and the everything that he was able to do in the time frame he did in was very impressive.
You know, I'd like to find a Granada now, though. I just need the front end out of it. I can care less about the rest of the car. Throw it away. I just need the front end out of it.
For
Do a disc brake swap on my bullet nose Studebaker.
I thought you meant the front sheet metal. I was like,
I
what the
didn't.
hell you're gonna? They're somewhat. Yeah, I see once a month, one of them a month here, but they're not parts cars.
It's like Gremlins. When people found out that that was the perfect swap for a 47 to 54 Chevy truck, boy, Gremlins disappeared. Everybody was cutting the front end out of them, marry them. Those.
Oh, I think indirect connection answered. I think you said Bob Glidden. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does. He drove a Granada in the 70s. Okay, it wasn't the Maverick.
Maybe we're both. I want to say what I'm thinking of was a Maverick too, but oh hell, I'll look it up later tonight at some point because it'll bug me. Yeah, he was an impressive guy. He really was.
And he got murdered?
Yeah. It sounds like from what I remember, I think I'd researched it in high school for something, but it sounds like it was one of his business partners that he wanted to break up one of the racing series he was partners with, and the guy had him killed. Tried to make it look like a robbery. It's a shame too, because he had a lot. He'd still probably be doing stuff.
Then he was big and off-road, Baja.
I knew him more because I've always liked trucks. I knew him more from because everybody had Mickey Thompson's, those big ass tires, and when I was a kid, then I understood that he basically, the short course off road stuff was him, the land speed stuff was him, drag racing, on and on and on and on and on.
In the sand, when paddle tires first started coming out, they were all Mickey's.
Now,
then Dick Seepeck was the next ones.
Yeah, Dick Seepeck. Yeah.
In fact, we still got a set of Dicks.
I still see him for sale. If you kept them in the dark and don't put them outside, you can probably keep them. But I would hate to think of how poorly those would run now after all that rubber aging.
Yeah, we took those off and stuck them up at the top of the shop in the attic. Those Mickey Thompson, or no, they're Hoosiers. Those Hoosier slicks I talked Dad out of, they were up there next to them. Good Lord, they've been up there for probably 20 years. And they're pull-offs anyway. They're just to the point that Alden could get maybe one more run on them, and NHRA won't allow them anymore. So he gave them to us.
Okay.
I was going to put them on just to burn them off. Yeah, I think you're right there. That was a cool little car.
Yeah, there was that weird crossover in that general time frame where that mid 70s where it's hard to remember everybody that ran the random. And I wasn't, I wasn't born until 77, which still makes me old as hell, but that's all I'm seeing is stuff from when I was a kid.
I just seen your new video there, Jim. You're changing the channel up a little bit, huh? Cool. I'm kind of excited to see what you got going on.
Cool.
Pontiac Tempest made a wide body with a Z-body Corvair added pump and rear engine. Job done. When I had my Sandrail, the Corvair powered one was the only one I couldn't beat. Mine was a RX4 rotary. And my dad's was the Corvair. And I had take him off the line. I'd walk him about half track, and then he'd just come over right alongside of me and hit the next gear, and we was going. He just playing with me like cat and mouse.
Making you think you had a chance, and bye, son.
Oh boy, I'll never own another rotary as long as I live. Oh, man.
There's guys getting stupid power out of those things.
Oh, Lord, but I have never driven something as violent as that was. You crank that thing up to 910. Well, I broke two tacks. And they just scream.
Yeah.
It would get so loud that your vision would vibrate out and you couldn't see anymore. Just angry and high pitched, just scream. It's like a banshee.
There was when I worked at McLaren, they were doing the Cadillac Le Mans cars, and they had the engines and the dynos, and they would crank them up to 12 to 13,000 RPM.
Yeah.
And you could feel it in the building. The entire damn building would, and there'd be people calling the cops, thinking something was going to explode. It was like nothing sounded like it. And they would run that really crappy elf gas, like 83 octane elf gas. So it didn't want to, they had to have a custom tune for it because nothing wants to run on that stuff. And it was just like, holy crap.
And you have to mix oil with it. You have to put 2-cycle oil in it. The way the rotors,
yeah,
they're just crazy.
No, there's someone I think it's Rob Dom. He's got a 1,400 horsepower 4-rotor.
Jimmy Christmas.
The thing is it sounds like it's either going to run or explode. Like there's no in between. Like it's either going to be awesome or ow.
And you got it right there, Dean. They're exactly like a 2-stroke motorbike.
Yeah.
If you don't have 10 grand, you ain't got nothing. You got to spin them things to get any kind. They're zero torque, just like a 2-stroke. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. 34 foot-pounds at 3,000 RPM.
And I'm used to the opposite. My Jeep stuff, it doesn't make a ton of horsepower, but it makes all the torque like a diesel engine right at the bottom.
Oh, my first day out on that Sandrail, I got stuck so many times. I hated it. Absolutely hated it because I was driving it like, you would a piston engine.
Yeah.
And Dad said, no, you got to wind this sucker up. And then we took the thermal reactor off of it and just put 2 straight pipes straight off the block. Holy thing, cow, that thing come alive. I guess you gain like almost 100 horsepower just by taking that thermal reactor off the side of it.
Good Lord.
But man, yeah. I had to wear earplugs, and then I stuck a helmet on, and I stuck rags in just to be able to drive it. Cool thing, though, is when you come off the throttle, those pipes will shoot flames out about 6 feet.
Yeah, because it can't stop all that unburnt gas coming out.
My godfather, he had a big old beard, kind of like Buck. Buck reminds me a lot of James. Big old beard like that. I come alongside of him as we rolled down a dune, and I let out the throttle. I wasn't even thinking about it. I took the whole side of his face off. Woof, woof.
So that was your secret weapon to win all the races. As long as you got in front of them, you just keep the flamethrower position at them.
Pick your lane wisely. We only run it like that for about 2 years, though, and then we piped it out the back. Oh, it was too much.
Yeah.
Matt's off-road recovery is big into Corvairs. He just did a fix and drive. Cool.
I think they turned the Corvair into one of their recovery vehicles, but I don't follow their stuff too closely.
They'll walk all over a Volkswagen. But good night. Have you ever looked underneath of a Corvair? You think Mopar's built cheap? Wow. That's a tie rod.
Yeah, the front sway bar on the Honda is literally like a not even a dime in diameter. I think I'm gonna have to jump off, my friend. I got a couple things I got to do tonight.
Yeah, I think I'll wrap her up here as well. Uncle Tony's probably starting in his backup, or I can go over here and check it out.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Bad Chabelles looks like he's still going. Nitro Freak. Doesn't look like Uncle Tony has started his yet, but somebody will have a live going. We'll all meet over there somewheres. Thanks for coming out, 6%.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome anytime. One of these days, we're going to get a New Guy's Garage back in here.
Dan's got a lot of irons in the fire at the moment, so
does he?
Yeah, but in theory, or actually, what I'll have to do is I'll have to leave, and maybe he can actually appear.
Well, if you see him, tell him I'm thinking of him, man.
Will do, man.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for coming out this week. Thanks for joining me for the premiere just before this. And I've got more videos coming. I just got to get them edited up. And, well, we'll do this again next week for Christmas. Holy cow, it's Christmas time.
I can't believe that.
Cool thing about Christmas, though, is it's real close to John Wilbur putting a number on that orange piece of paper.
That doesn't help me any right now, BareRose.
Me either, man. Me either. I'm farther behind than you are.
Oh, we can make a contest of it. See who can get farther behind faster.
The procrastination destination.
I wish I was procrastinating. I just can't get shit done. There's only so much of me to go around, and either I don't have money or I don't have time. I never seem to meet them together at the same point.
Then when you got time, you got no money.
Yeah.
And you look at the argon gauge, and it's down at 0.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you turn it.
I bought 10 bottles of gas through the build so far of the Chambler. That's how much I've had to weld on that freaking thing. So yeah, that's a third of my budget's been welding gas and wire.
No problem, Alex. And you're more than welcome anytime. Like I said, if you want to join in on the chat here, just click that little link and hop on in. Sure beats all that typing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, with that, I think we'll close her up for the night. And everybody, have a great and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're into there. And get out there and keep some metal hot. And we'll catch you on the next ones.
Take it easy, everybody.